Hello, Peak and Glint family. Welcome back to another episode of Peak and GlintSagas. Image the channel where we unravel real-life stories that are filled with twists, turns, and unexpected emotions. Today, we have a roller coaster of tales that will leave you questioning the boundaries of love, family, and the complexities that life throws our way. So, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's dive into the drama. In our first saga, we'll explore the aftermath of a divorce, a battle with cancer, and the surprising twist of fate that brings an ex-wife back into the picture. But will old wounds be healed? Or will the past continue to cast its shadows? Next up, a family vacation planner has taken an unexpected turn. The power dynamic shifts as one sibling takes the lead, leaving others grappling with the consequences of their choices. Will this family find a way to navigate the tricky waters of vacation planning, or will the conflicts tear them apart? And finally, a heart-wrenching story of lost connections and newfound love. A man faced with a terminal diagnosis finds solace in an unexpected ally, leading to a second chance at happiness. But when the past comes knocking, will he choose to help those who once turned their backs on him? Buckle up, Peak and Glint fam, because these sagas are about to take you on an emotional ride like never before. Story 1.
My husband and I have 4 kids, Evan 20, Adriana 16, Elizabeth 15, and Michael 15. We try to travel 3 to 4 times a year. 3 years ago, the night before we were supposed to leave, my friend told us we couldn't use her cabin anymore. We were all looking for new places, and Adriana sent a listing for this small town in the middle of nowhere. We ignored it the first few times she sent it, but she eventually talked us into looking at it, and it was perfect. We paid a little over $200 a night for a beautiful cabin on the lake with a game room and enough beds to allow everyone to get their bed. The people were great, the drive wasn't bad, and there were a lot of things to do there. It's become one of our favorite vacation spots. When Adriana was 14, we pretty much started letting her book family vacations. She had to run everything by us first, but she was the one that chose where we went and where we stayed. Her only condition is that she gets her first pick for rooms or beds. She's even booked an international vacation for us, including flights and a rental car. We've given the other kids opportunities to help with vacations. They all know if they can find a place that we'd want to go to and stay within a budget, they can get first dibs if we book it. The problems are that they have a hard time sticking to a budget, or they're set on a specific place even if it's not suitable for everyone. They'll pick a hotel or rental that's nearly the entire or over the vacation budget, or doesn't have enough rooms because it has a specific feature. Because of this, we almost always go with Adriana's choice. We recently spent 3 nights in a cabin with 3 bedrooms. 2 rooms had a king bed and an ensuite. Third had 4 twin beds. Adriana chose one of the rooms with the king beds. There was a pull-out couch available, but none of them wanted it. After we left, they were upset that Adriana got her room and bathroom while the rest of them had to share. I told them they knew the deal and that if they could find a place for everyone, stay within budget, and pick a place that we'd all want to go to, they could also choose their room and bed. They say they try, but we always pick Adriana's listings. I told them her listings are usually more practical. We paid a little under $600 for the cabin that we stayed at after taxes and fees. It had so many free activities nearby that the entire 3-day vacation for 6 people came out to just under $1,000. They can't beat it with a $1,800 listing with 2 beds and a single bathroom. They think we're being unfair and should rotate who books the vacations and chooses the rooms, but I just don't have that kind of money to throw away, and I'm not going to deal with the fighting that'll inevitably come when they pick a place with not enough beds or bathrooms. To be clear, it's a list I made a little while after I found out that he had started talking to one of the people he had a crush on at work again, despite assuring me he wouldn't. I had never wanted to use it, I just wanted to be prepared in case things started going the way they looked like they might. Anyway, we got in a fight while I was a few hours away. He had sounded alarmed that I was coming home but didn't mention anything about leaving, turned off his location services. And then when I got home, he was gone and the list was sitting by itself on the bed. Maybe it's the complete lack of sleep, but I can't tell if this assumption is the most rational or a huge leap anymore. Is there any good reason he would have put that there aside from wanting a divorce? Part of me thinks I'm jumping to conclusions, while the other part of me feels like I would be an idiot not to see the writing on the wall. Came home to an empty house and a list of attorneys that I made, but still, on the bed. That can't be a meaningless accident, right?
Story 2.
I'm 19M. And my GF18F. We've been dating for about 2.5 years now. All going smoothly until a few days ago. She texted me a link to a waddled page and I opened it and I was shown her entire page. She had so much fanfic in there I was blown away. I was bombarded and then I read one because it had my name. Then I started to get uncomfortable. She used my full name in the story and described me down to a T. My GF is also a huge K-pop fan and it was a homos 3-shul fanfic about me and said pop member. Just reading it had me feeling kind of sick. She went into great detail. And it had an entire 7-part series about it. I decided to call it quits and closed out of the tab. It had a couple of views behind it too. So after like 30 minutes, I text her, "Hey, I saw what you wrote about me. Could you please stop that or at the very least not post it?" She blew up at me saying how I shouldn't care. I'm insecure and a bunch of other things. I tried to reason with her on this as my immediate family and friends use Wattpad and to be honest, I just don't like the idea of her using my full name and description out there like that. She called me a piece of shit for trying to restrain her. At this point, I was just confused and asked her to call later. We called and she was still mad. My GF and I have been dating for about a year. She has 2 older kids with her ex and they have 50-50 its custody. She picked the kids up yesterday and realized her ex didn't send the kids to camp with their coats. Given the fact the temperature is going to get down to the 30s this week, she sent him a message and asked him to drop their coats off on her front porch tonight, and he agreed. While sitting down for dinner tonight with her kids, and my kids in her dining room, which is at the front of her house, we heard the front door smart lock unlock and the door open. He popped in with the coats and said, "I'm sorry. If I knew you were here I wouldn't have come in," dropped the coats and left. The coat he used is one she has set up for her kids in case they ever need to come in, and he knew it. I talked to her after the kids went to bed and told her how violated I felt. Not only did he come into a space we often have private time, he also made a comment that made it sound like he thinks it would be more okay to come in if we weren't there. She deleted the code and said she'd set up a new one for the kids, but they've had a history of bad boundaries, mainly him doing little kinds of stuff to mess with her. For example, they agreed to host one of their kids' birthday parties at a neutral location, but a few days later said he created invites to have it at his house, so I told her I didn't think that was enough. I want a police report filed for either trespassing or breaking, so it's documented. She disagrees, saying I'm being over the top, and now we're fighting about it. Any advice on how to handle this? Quick update. She looked back at the ad for her door lock and found multiple instances over the past few months of the kids' door codes being used to gain entry to the house during school and work hours. She cross-referenced them with her calendar and the kids' school calendar and confirmed they were days and hours she was working, and the kids were in school.
Story 3.
I 56M was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer back when I was 37. They caught it relatively early, but I was not expected to survive. About a month after my diagnosis, my ex-wife Sarah, 55F, divorced me and took the kids, house and most of our savings. She even turned the kids, at the time 14 meters, 12F, 11F, against me. And I was a lone only child, and my parents died in my 20 seconds. So no other family to deal with my seemingly inevitable death. Well, except one person, my co-worker Jane. She was the only person in the world who seemed to care about me. Before you ask, there was no infidelity. Sarah divorced me because she couldn't be my nurse as she watched me die. Anyways, the doctors wanted to try to remove the tumor after a few courses of chemo, and I went into remission after the surgery and some more chemo. I tried to be there for my kids, but Sarah remarried and my spot was taken by her new husband. After a while, I stopped calling on baydays and holidays, stopped giving gifts, stopped trying to be involved in their lives. It hurt almost as much as the cancer when I realized I didn't mean anything to them. I ended up marrying Jane and we have 2 kids. It still hurts, but I love my new family, and they give a shit about me. Anyways, Sarah recently got diagnosed with terminal heart disease and they are struggling financially. My kids called me for the first time in over a decade to ask me out for lunch. I didn't want to go, but Jane said they're extending an olive branch and to at least hear what they want to say. At lunch, they didn't even both with pleasantries. They immediately jumped into asking me to help out their mum with medical bills. I said no and got up to leave. But my son said that even if I didn't love their mum, they did, and if I loved them, I needed to help. I asked them what their half-siblings' names were when the last time they called, who they spent the last 2 decades worth of Father's Days with. Why TF I should give a shit about a woman who took everything and left me alone while facing my death, or about the kids who wouldn't even see me before my surgery or at any point when I was dying. They were silent. So I said, I don't care about your mum, nor do I give a single shit if she dies. And I don't care how bad her dying hurts you guys, because I care about you all as much as you care about me, not in the slightest. I won't help because I don't love her or you guys, and left. I've been getting calls from my ex's family telling me how awful I am for saying that to my own flesh and blood. I wouldn't care, but my wife told me that even though I'm right, I was too harsh on them. Ada, edit, posting this BC. People seem to think I gave up immediately. Sarah remarried about a year after I went into remission. I tried for 11 years, but all I'd get on the calls was a thank you and one-word answers about what's going on in their lives. As time went on, the calls got shorter and shorter, if they answered at all. I stopped calling after 11 years because not one of them answered on Christmas. I tried spending time with them in person over the years, but it was always short because the kids were busy, or at least that's what I was told. I fought for my kids until the youngest was 22.
And there you have it. Another set of sagas that remind us of the complexities of life, love, and family. If these stories resonate with you, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that notification bell. Join our community, and let's keep the conversation going. As always, thank you for being part of the Peak and Glint family. Stay tuned for more sagas, more emotions, and more unexpected twists. This is Peak and GlintSagas. Signing off. Until next time, take care, and remember, every story is a journey worth exploring.